What is up, people in the interwebs? I hope you are having a terrifying day for this spooky month, and welcome to the Halloween Spooktacular of 2020. In today's video, I'm going to read a selection of spooky tales I have found online. It looks like originally a lot of these tales have come from Reddit, but I will place a link in the description below for the website I've used to find all these spooky tales, since there's definitely a few other really good ones on this list that's definitely worth a read, but I'm going for the ones that I found were the most spookiest, or the ones that had the most interesting plot twist at the end. So get comfy, go grab a cup of tea and sit back and relax while I tell you some spooky tales. But let's get into the spooky atmosphere first. So let's begin. So our first one on today's list is called Timekeeper by Gridster2. He had been given the watch on his 10th birthday. It was an ordinary grey plastic wristwatch in every aspect except for the fact that it was counting down. That is all the time you have left in this world, son. Use it wisely. And indeed he did. As the watch ticked away, the boy, now a man, lived life to the fullest. He climbed mountains and swam oceans. He talked and laughed and lived and loved. The man was never afraid, for he knew exactly how much time he had left. Eventually, the watch began its final countdown. The old man stood looking over everything he had done, everything he has built. 5. He shook hands with his old business partner, the man who had long been his friend and confidant. 4. His dog came and licked his hand, earning a pat on the head for its companionship. 3. He hugged his son, knowing that he had been a good father. 2. He kissed his wife on the forehead one last time. 1. The old man smiled and closed his eyes. Then nothing happened. The watch beeped once and turned off. The old man stood standing there, very much alive. You'd think that in that moment he would be overjoyed. Instead, for the first time in his life, the man was scared. Moving on to number 2, called This New Old House by Bat Out of Hell 821. We bought an old house, my boyfriend and I. He's in charge of the new constructions, converting the kitchen into the master bedroom, for instance, whilst I'm on wallpaper removal duty. The previous owner papered every wall and ceiling. Removing it is brutal, but oddly satisfying. The best feeling is getting a long peel, similar to your skin when you're peeling from a sunburn. I don't know about you, but I kinda make a game of peeling, on the hunt for the longest piece before it rips. Under a corner section of paper in every room is a person's name and a date. Well, curiosity got the better of me, and one night when I googled one of the names and discovered the person was actually a missing person, the missing date matching the date under the wallpaper. The next day I made a list of all the names and dates, and sure enough, each name was from a missing person with date to match. We notified the police, who naturally sent out the crime scene team. I overheard one text say, "Yep, it's human." Human? What's human? Ma'am, where is the material you removed from the walls already? This isn't wallpaper you're removing. Tale number 3 is called I Hate It When My Brother Charlie Has to Go Away by Horror in Pure Form. I hate it when my brother Charlie has to go away. My parents constantly try to explain to me how sick he is, that I'm lucky for having a brain where all the chemicals flow properly to their destinations like undammed rivers. When I complain about how bored I am without a little brother to play with, They tried to make me feel bad by pointing out that his boredom likely far surpasses mine. Considering he's confined to a dark room in an institution, I always beg for them to give him one last chance. Of course, they did at first. Charlie has been back home several times, each shorter in duration than the last. Every time, without fail, it all starts again. The neighbourhood cats with gouged out eyes showing up in his toy chest, my dad's razors found dropped on the baby's side in the park across the street, Mum's vitamins replaced by bits of dishwasher tablets. My parents are hesitant now, using last chance sparingly. They say his disorder makes him charming, makes it easy for him to fake normality, and to trick the doctors who care for him into thinking he's ready for rehabilitation. That I will have to just put up with my boredom if it means staying safe from him. I hate it when Charlie has to go away. It makes me have to pretend to be good until he's back. And last but not least, I've kept the best story till last, as this one definitely has the best ending and really gives you a lot of things to think about. And this one is called Return of the Messiah by Hunt Frog. In the year 2026, the Messiah came back down to earth. She performed miracles and cured the sick. There was no doubt as to her authenticity. She appeared to all nations at once. All believed, all worshipped her. Sometime later, after this period of our history known as the Age of Peace, she dropped a bombshell on us. She warned us that heaven was almost full. Nobody had gone to hell during this age. There was a fixed amount of spots left. Paradise would be closed to all who died after the gates closed. That is when the mass suicide began. Taking your own life, she had told us, was not a sin if you died as a deeply religious, devoting believer. The race was on. She looked on and was pleased. She returned to her home, to her throne of fire and flames, and greeted all with a nod of her wicked horns. And there you guys have it. That is all the spooky stories for today. Let's remove the spooky atmosphere. And the last story was definitely my favourite. It had such a good twist ending. It gave me chills the first time I read it. And it just had such a good moral behind it, since it shows you shouldn't believe everything anybody tells you. And just because one person says that's the right way to live, or this is how you should be doing something, doesn't necessarily mean they are correct. And yeah, it just had such a good meaning, such a good spooky tale, and yeah, it definitely gets 10 out of 10 in my book for spooky stories. But that's everything for today. If you have enjoyed today's video, please leave me a like. Let me know in the comments below which tale you enjoyed the most. Also check out the website below, since there's some more spooky tales on there and they're definitely worth a read. Or also let me know if you do check out the website, if there's any other spooky tales you want me to read, let me know and I'll get around to doing it. So just remember guys, keep being awesome, keep being spooky, and I'll see you in the next spooky video. Bye!